My family decided to move to a city from a small little town. The first day we arrived at the new house that we are moving to. It's an old house, it looks like a fixer-upper, but in the very expensive area inside, the Trans family was buzzing with excitement. Their faces lit up with joy and anticipation. They had finally moved into their new home, a dream they had been chasing for years. It was old and a bit creepy, yes, with its weathered facade and creaky wooden steps. But the price was unbelievably low, almost too good to be true. John, the father, chuckled to himself, thinking about the great deal they had gotten.
A steal, he exclaimed, feeling proud of his find.
Little did they know, the house held secrets hidden deep within its walls. Dark secrets that would make their blood run cold. Secrets that whispered in the dead of night. As they unloaded boxes, a strange feeling settled over them. An unease they couldn't quite shake off. The air felt heavy, thick with unseen energy, almost as if the house itself was alive. The house loomed over them, its shadow stretching long and ominous in the twilight. John's wife Mary shivered, feeling a chill run down her spine.
"This place gives me the creeps," she whispered, her voice trembling.
John just laughed, trying to brush off her concerns.
Don't be silly, it's just an old house, he said dismissively.
He put his arm around her, leading her inside, trying to comfort her. But even he felt a shiver crawl up his spine, a feeling he couldn't ignore. As they stepped through the threshold, the air grew noticeably colder, almost freezing. A low hum seemed to vibrate through the floorboards, a sound that was both unsettling and mysterious. This was no ordinary house. This was a house of whispers, a place where the past and present intertwined in eerie harmony. The first thing that struck you about the living room was the tree. It was impossible to miss, standing tall and proud in the center of the room. It wasn't just any tree. It had an almost mystical presence, as if it had been there for centuries. It was a massive oak, its gnarled branches scraping the ceiling, creating an intricate pattern of shadows. The trunk, thick as a man's torso, sprouted from the floorboards, anchoring the room in a sense of timelessness. It was as if the house had been built around it, embracing the tree as its heart and soul. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting dancing shadows on the worn furniture, giving the room a magical, almost ethereal quality. Mary ran her hand across the rough bark, feeling the history and life pulsing through it.
"It's beautiful. It's like nothing I've ever seen before."
She whispered, a hint of unease in her voice, as if the tree held secrets she couldn't quite grasp. John, ever the pragmatist, was already planning how to work around it, his mind racing with possibilities.
We'll have to arrange the furniture carefully, making sure we don't disturb its roots.
He mused, scratching his chin thoughtfully, already envisioning the new layout. The children, 10-year-old Emily and her brother, 8-year-old Sam, were instantly captivated by the tree's grandeur. They circled the tree, their fingers tracing the patterns in the bark, their imaginations running wild.
"It's like our own little forest inside the house. We can have adventures right here,"
exclaimed Emily, her eyes wide with wonder and excitement. Sam, however, felt a chill despite the warmth of the sunbeams, a shiver running down his spine. He couldn't shake off the feeling that something was watching them from the leafy canopy, hidden and silent. That night, sleep came very slowly. The unfamiliar creaks and groans of the old house kept John and Mary awake. But it was the children who experienced the true terror of the house. In separate rooms, Emily and Sam were plagued by the same nightmare. Emily tossed and turned, her sheets tangled around her legs. A cold wind seemed to swirl around her, whispering her name.
"Emily, Emily!"
The voice was soft, high-pitched, like that of a young girl. Sam sat bolt upright in bed, his heart pounding like a drum. He could have sworn he heard someone calling his name.
"Sam, come here, to the tree."
The voice was faint, almost inaudible, but it sent shivers down his spine.
"Hello? Is anyone there?" Drawn as if by an invisible force, both children crept out of their rooms and towards the living room, their hearts pounding with each step. The moonlight streamed through the windows, casting an eerie glow and illuminating the tree in a silvery light. As Emily approached cautiously, she saw a figure perched on one of the lower branches, almost blending with the shadows. It was a girl, her back to Emily, her long dark hair cascading down her back like a waterfall of darkness. She was wearing a white dress, its fabric shimmering in the moonlight, making her look almost ethereal.
Don't talk to her, she's not real, Emily whispered, her voice trembling with fear and uncertainty. Sam, his eyes wide with fear, reached out and grabbed his sister's hand, seeking comfort in her presence.
But it was too late. The girl began to turn, her head slowly pivoting on her neck as if in slow motion. Emily held her breath, her heart pounding in her chest like a drum, her eyes wide with anticipation. But just as the girl's face was about to come into view, she vanished into thin air. One moment she was there, the next she was gone, as if she had melted into the shadows of the tree, leaving no trace behind. Emily and Sam stared at the empty branch, their bodies trembling with a mixture of fear and fascination, unable to comprehend what they had just witnessed. They had just seen their first ghost, a moment that would be etched in their memories forever.